What Rebecca does is magic. It's complete alchemy. She just makes something that the rest of us wouldn't even notice somehow seem magical and enchanted. Would take a very dull person not to have any thoughts or opinions about her work, and even if you don't like it, I think you can be inspired by the level of attention to detail and the way that the picture has been constructed.
It's the dedication that people can clearly see with a lot of photographers' work. Even if the work is technically good, the content is technically good, or everything around it, sometimes it's just that little bit of dedication that when you see Rebecca's work, I couldn't just pick my camera up and go and shoot that, regardless of how much money I've got or budgets.
I'm a fine art photographer, an urban explorer and a dark tourist. Urban exploring is discovering buildings and spaces that the general public wouldn't normally get to see. So anything that's behind closed doors, fences, and just places where you're not meant to go.
I think it's transgressive, isn't it? Because you're going into places that technically, possibly even legally, you shouldn't be going into. Not to do anything other than also to celebrate those spaces and make those spaces visible to people who wouldn't usually see them.
It was really when I started doing this urban exploring photography that people really started to spark an interest in what I was doing. You walk past fashion photography all the time in the streets and on the TV, but no one's ever gets to see what's behind these fences that are all boarded off. People are just like wowed by these images because they've not seen them before. When I start to add kind of elements of the imagination as well, it kind of creates scenes which are just beyond what they can imagine. I really want something amazing to see, just something that I haven't seen before, something epic. Just something that will kind of have emotion for me. So whether it's the fact that people have left items in the buildings, or whether it's the amazing architecture that just blows you away, I'm always looking for something like that in the photos and the buildings that I go to.
You have reached your destination. Windows up, grab those sunnies and don't let the seagulls steal your chips.
Is that him?
There's like a house and there's coffins, pet coffins with actual pets inside.
I've seen the pictures, yeah.
Yeah.
I just hope, because when I saw that and he took the lid off, I thought, I hope they just suddenly don't start decomposing into dust, because usually once you get the air to them, they'll just crumble into ashes.
Yeah. Well,
they might have mummified though. If they're mummified, then they're swimming solid, aren't they?
Yeah, that's true.
They only went a couple of weeks ago, so
Right.
I'm sure they'll be right. And they've hidden them under the bed, I think. But I think that's actually where they found them. It's under the bed. Like this owner's got them in the coffins and just put them under the bed.
Right.
It's pretty strange.
Woman keeps pet coffins with pets still inside and doesn't bury them. Just leaves them rotting away in her house. It's so strange. Oh, in one of these houses, apparently there's some like red plastic pot, and have you seen the contents? It's like some weird creature. It doesn't even look real. They couldn't work out whether it was a cat or a monkey. It's like some weird cat monkey creature, and they can't even work out what it is. And it stings. Apparently they opened up this pot.
Oh, you'd never open anything like that. You just never know what you're releasing.
going to start passing things through. Okay.
It's a bit cramped in here.
Do you shut that, lock that window?
Okay.
So it looks like it's all sealed still.
I'm not having it like fall out on me. Just stay there, do not fall on me. Bob. God, Bob. My Bob. Dead creature inside the coffin, apparently. This one is Sweep, 1983 to 1998. Let's take them this way.
She tells very deep stories through photography in a photography space that usually is very frivolous.
In these items, she captures the stories behind them, and it does make you want to ask, why is that building abandoned? Who was there? Who was the last person that left that building?
I think I'm almost ready to see what's in the boxes. Oh, poor Sweep. Sweep looks very peaceful in his little coffin. But it's slightly disturbing that Sweep was kept in his coffin under her bed. And this is Bob, who seem to have died at the same time, which is a bit weird as well. Ooh, Bob looking a bit different to Sweep. And there's quite a lot of bugs in Bob as well. Oh, God.
You want to see downstairs?
What's downstairs?
Dead animals.
Really?
Really? Yeah. Some really cool, like a full size, like ram.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know if I can do it. It's disgusting. Okay, I can do this.
It was like Raiders of the Lost Ark, because the sort of Saturday night we'd been out with friends, and this guy was just talking about this sort of cave with cars in, and you just had this sort of vision of, you know, maybe a 10-foot cave with a couple of cars. But then when we scaled down, and you just sort of go through this little tunnel, and then you come out into this mass cavern, and you've just got this light shining onto these cars. It's just pretty epic.
So I had these dreams about these places, and I dreamt about the car place, and it's like you get this feeling like you just have to be there.
Don't film this bit, because...
Don't film it. Don't film this bit, apparently.
Don't publicise it.
What's interesting is that Rebecca has had to become a part of the urbex community to be able to visit the places that she's gone to. Because if she wasn't part of that community, she wouldn't get access to them. These are hidden and secretive spaces that aren't available to the general public. And so you need to be a part of that community. You need to be part of that urbex groups to be able to get access to them.
We're going to find bodies in the water.
No.
I'll tell you what, it does make me think, when you're saying about all the cars are mainly from road traffic accidents, makes you think how many deaths it caused to build this pile up.
Whoa.
That's the spooky thing for me. It's almost like a sort of underground cemetery in a way.
Find a finger.
Just to put yourself on, as you can see, it's a bit of a crawl. It's a hell of a lot of effort.
Really? That's it, work it, you can.
Is this where we have to go down?
No, this is just a crawl through. Crawl over to your right, Richard.
Oh, okay.
Watch your head.
That's a drop.
Yeah.
It's what?
Just keep right over to the right and away from the edge, because there's a lot of loose slate. Do you want me to come through so you can see with the torch? Yeah. You on your back? Okay. Just go with us now, folks.
Bag the big torch.
Back coming through. Right, do you want to, if I get through and pass me, you get through. It's a bit of a crawl.
Okay.
But it's alright. Watch your head when you crawl under.
Okay.
And enjoy yourselves. I'll see you in a minute.
Whoa.
Right. The longest I did was 8 seconds.
This is one of the many cabins, but it's quite unique in the fact that, as you've already witnessed, you don't get many mines with cars down them.
Actually just literally made one of my dreams come true.
There we go.
It actually felt just how it felt in my dream.
Urban explorers are normally urban explorers first and photographers second, whereas Rebecca's come from the other side. She's a photographer first and foremost, and a very competent and professional photographer. So for her to kind of move into the space of urban exploration means that the work that she's doing is unlike any other photography work that's been done before in that space.
I've been doing some more fine art photography now in the abandoned buildings, because obviously I was once a fashion photographer, and now I'm combining my love of shooting models in abandoned buildings, not necessarily in a fashion kind of way, but more like a fine art, imaginative kind of way. A lot of the time it's the locations that actually inspire me to create the pictures. Because once I've been to a place and I've seen different rooms, then I build my ideas based on that room. So if it's like a really dark, kind of scary looking room, then maybe I'll want to introduce something more romantic and beautiful into it. So I've always got this contrast that I have with my work going on. I've used many different props in my shoots, and they're helpful to kind of tell a story and add a different element of surrealness to my images. I recently did a shoot and I got a 15-year-old boy to bring his Skull and Skellington collection to the shoot, which just added something amazing to it. I just want to create images that are past the imagination that people haven't seen before.
I'm crying. Shut my eyes shut. Or, yeah, keep your eyes shut.
Photo shoot for the Day of the Dead, or Day of the Dead, aka Rebecca, as the Eastern Europeans are.
I took a model to an abandoned morgue, and it was the first time that she'd ever been inside one, and it was just really amazing, like seeing her reaction.
I'm a little bit freaked out right now. I don't know. Oh, it's just like really real, isn't it? All the writing everywhere. And
but quite excited still. It's really creepy. It's my first place I've sort of broken into. And it's quite exciting. But I'm glad it's daytime, if anything. I don't think I could do this at night. I'm gonna get changed into something more dead looking. And yeah, just pose like a dead person. Some creepy movements and yeah. Yeah, we've got some dirty water with us, so it's gonna be interesting. Oh yeah, you just pushed me out of the lake.
So the recent pictures that she took with the morgue, for a moment, the first time I saw that picture, I actually thought that I was seeing a photograph from a television set, because it was so realistic. I've been into a morgue in a professional capacity, and I could see that it was a morgue, and then suddenly I realised that things just weren't quite right. There was a level of decay. Actually, the model looked a little bit too healthy. And it was stunning. It was, once again, it was Becky doing what Becky really does well, which is creating something that feels earthy and unsanitized, but actually is really, really highly sanitized and very, very clinical, because it's presenting death to us in a way that's very aesthetically pleasing and beautiful. And I wonder if people might have been unsettled by that picture, but actually the sensitivity in those pictures is what made it so beautiful. You know, it was real life presented in a very, very beautiful way, with very real living model, but in a place that was intended to be about investigating death. And actually that's what Becky's really good at, is investigating death.
So how do you like your first abandoned building? I'm sort of used to the thought now, you know what I mean? Like, first you get in here and you're like sort of like thinking too much, you know, and you're like, wow, you're one of them. At the beginning, I just kept thinking of people working in here rather of the dead people, you know what I mean? That people are just so like shut down to it, that work in something like this. It's not like that they just like handle a dead body like every day. And it's like, what even shocks those people? You know, like...
I think as humans, we're all fascinated somehow with death, because it's just the one question that we never know the answer to. Mixing
death and beauty, and you know, Rebecca's kind of gone on record of saying that she likes death and decay. Death and decay isn't the same for everybody. Someone physically doesn't have to die in a space for it to be a space of death. You can have a death of a building, you can have a death of anything. Anything can decay. It doesn't have to be a person. It can be an old theatre that's, you know, the people have left the theatre, and there's all of those memories still, you know, around, and all of those things, and capturing that angle is quite beautiful.
When you go to these places, they've got enough hints of life in them that they hint at what could have been, what could be, what might have been, but probably what never was.
Becky, she's managed to visit a lot of places that I suppose most people would never get to see, she could be accused of being quite lucky for this. But the reality is, she's had to work really hard to get to where she is. She's made many sacrifices, I suppose, as well as I have. The biggest obstacle that Becky has to overcome is the financing of it. The trips aren't very cheap, and she has to pretty much pay for it all herself. She does this just by putting absolutely everything she has into these trips, you know. Sometimes she'll almost starve on some of the trips, but she's determined and she'll just dive into these things and just deal with the aftermath afterwards, I suppose.
You have to kind of lead from the front and with yourself and with your thoughts and your emotional states. If you want something, no one's going to give it to you. You're going to have to go and take it. And there's no way you can think of it in any other way than it's her motivation that's got her there. It's not luck. She's got up and gone.
It's that desire that almost overrides anything else, and so she's quite prepared to take on danger, take on the risk of arrest, and I think in terms of her ambition and her desire to achieve those ambitions, almost nothing stops that.
She has worked so hard for that. Is that truly luck? Is that truly down to chance or fate? She's made that happen. Anybody with the sheer level of determination that she has could do any of those things and travel around the world. Once she's focused, once she's got the bit between her teeth, there is no stopping her.
She has such drive behind her. I couldn't tell you where it comes from. I'm envious of it, I must say.
To me, Rebecca definitely is an inspiration on a number of different ways, and I'll say it again, it's the dedication towards her personal story, her personal projects, and the way that she brings people together. Whenever you see a behind the scenes thing, or when Rebecca's in a far-flung country, you know that there's a number of people around there working together on a team project, and that again is fantastically inspiring to me.